Good afternoon. This is Dennis Wilburn with How to Make Money Trading Stocks webinar presented by the Active Trend Traders. Mike and Michael are not with us today. They are out enjoying the summertime, and it's still early in the morning over here in Hawaii, so I'll be out. Well, I actually won't be out. I'm in the process of demoing my house, our house, and getting ready for some renovation here shortly. Remember, all the materials we do present are for training purposes only. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. Even though I've been trading, in excess of like 30 plus years, I still paper trade. I think it's one of the most inexpensive, valuable tools that I can do to maintain and keep my edge. The thing that's very interesting, it's like if you're a golfer or if you're any kind of sports person, you have to go practice. I have to go to the range and hit range balls. I have to go to the putting green and practice putting, and so that's what I do to maintain my edge when I'm out there playing golf. Well, I do have to do the same thing with trading, and therefore I paper trade. Here's a little bit about who I am, and the motto of Active Trend Trading is to clarify, simplify, and multiply. Got some things coming down the line on Active Trend Trader that my son Brandon is working on, and then also my wife has joined the team. Michelle has joined the team. She will be taking care of membership for folks, for both the premium, the early warning and alert members. Just make sure everybody's getting what they need to be getting from the services. I found this quote by Peter Brandt that I thought was absolutely fantastic. If you don't know precisely what signal is yours and how you will size and manage your position, stop trading. Stop trading. Very, very important. And the thing about it is you don't have to stop trading for a long time, but I find as I go back through and look at my trading, my trading journal, there are times when, as a matter of fact, I was just having a little discussion with myself. I know that sounds funny, but I have a little bit of discussion with myself because I was seeing some things popping up on my journal, and I'm going, okay, that needs to be changed. I need to be more solid on getting the rest of my plan. If I open a position, having the plan in place of how I'm going to manage it. And that's where I'm primarily talking about in my own private account. And so it's kind of funny because I try to keep the Active Trend Trading account very tight. However, it's funny when I transition over into my own, one of my other accounts, I may, I can sometimes maybe not be so tight. I'm tight on the entries, but sometimes not too tight on the exits. So something to remind myself of going forward. Okay. Here's what we get done during this about 10 to 15 minutes worth of webinar, market review, take a look at some stocks and ETFs, and what else. So today, June 30th, end of the month of June. It is portfolio rebalancing time by the institutions, and so it's the end of halfway through the year, end of the second quarter. And so we may see a little volatility going into the end of the day. Nothing to worry about. It's been kind of a surprising year. But, please take some time this weekend. I encourage you to take some time this weekend, assess and evaluate what how you have been trading. If you've been trading along with, Active Trend Trading, doing some of the parallel trading as a premium member, see how those are working out for you. Are you getting to take all the trades? In other words, when the alerts come out, is your schedule allowing you to, trade along with us? And so that's something to be looking at. But then come out with a game plan at the end of it all that will aid you in trading better moving forward through the rest of the year. As you can see on that last slide, the Active Trend Trading is up about 19% for the first half of the year. Well, part of my plan going into the remainder of 2017 is to target, okay, my target for the year is always 40%. That's just my objective target I do for the year. And this year I am going to accelerate that. I want to do 40% for the last part of the year, the second half of the year. And so please, tap into us, see how we're doing along with that, because with almost 20% for the first part of the year, if we do 40% for the second half of the year, the compounding on that turns out to be about 68%. So that's what we're after. I've already making the adjustments on my accounts so that we're taking into consideration the growth and how that will impact the new positions that we have going forward. So let's look here at the S&Ps. The S&Ps, daily chart on the left, weekly chart on the right. Momentum and True Strength Index pointed down. The longer-term momentum on the market forecast also pointed down. Price action on the S&P more or less just running sideways. Had a real nice sell-off yesterday when it looked like it was going to basically had a sell-off on Monday, Tuesday, a little bit of a pop-up relief rally on Wednesday, more selling Thursday, drove it all the way down to the 50-day moving average and all the way down to this 2405 level. Isn't it interesting how if you can define these levels of support? If we're patient, a lot of times it'll drive it, the prices will drive down to around those levels. And so what are we getting today? We are getting, one could interpret this as being a daily bullish Harami, since we have a little slight downtrend, and then we have a small body candle in the body of the previous trend, and that would be indicative of a potential bounce going into next week. But we are now below the 8-day, and we are getting support at the 50. The interesting thing on the weekly, look at that, the TSI on the weekly has turned over. Now, has it crossed? We'll have to wait till the close to see if it has in fact crossed or not. So a little bit of price action on the S&P are within a price range from that 2405 up to, let's say, 2450, 2446, somewhere there. So we're operating in this price range. It's interesting at the bottom of the range or the top of the range, but not so much in the middle. NDX. No, not UCO. NDX. NASDAQ, okay, NASDAQ. NASDAQ actually broke the little uptrend line that it had been under, okay, it closed below the 8-period moving average. If we close where it's at right now, we'll be below the 8-period moving average on a weekly chart, which is equivalent to approximately the 50-day moving average. And so we see here on the daily chart, price action, similar type action. Sell off on Monday for this would be not a bearish engulfing, but a dark cloud. Sell off the following day to the 50, a little bit of a bounce. Sell off again, drops the 50, which is not a healthy sign for the NASDAQ, for the tech stocks. And we saw that a lot of the tech stocks getting kind of whacked up and beat up a little bit through this week. And again, we're closing below the 50. Just, I'm keeping an eye on one is this is starting to put in a new, okay, we can draw this channel line in here, a new level of lower highs, lower lows, and so the NASDAQ may slip into one of those downward sloping channels. We'll see. Is it tradable? I would say, wait for the TSI tick up, the momentum tick up. We're getting a little bit of positive divergence on a daily basis, a little. On the weekly chart, the TSI, the momentum still looks like it wants to point down. And a lot of guys are still, a lot of folks out there are really wanting to see a really more significant pullback. Russell is still moving in this upward biased channel. We're in kind of no man's land right now. If you're looking to trade the Russell, trade it against either the Keltner channel here or the top of the channel. Keltner channel, that's the yellow line. And so for those of you who trade Thinkorswim, when I send out the notification, and I don't know how many of you do trade Thinkorswim, but I've been getting some requests for my chart settings. And what I'll do is I will attach my chart settings as a link, and then you just go. You have to have Thinkorswim up, and operational, and then you can download my chart settings directly to your Thinkorswim platform. And I'll attach that as part of the notification from Aweber on today's the video once it's recorded. Russell, again, pushing up towards the highs, but TSI not making new highs. Momentum still below the zero line, which tends to mean it's going to be moving into a downtrend. And you got a little bit of the momentum on the market forecast. Nothing really to write home about that. Again, similar situation here. We're pushing to new highs. However, we are getting negative divergence on the TSI and also on the momentum. So that's what's going on with that. Let's move quickly. And so you're welcome, Gary. And so let's see what else we got going on very rapidly here. There we go. So, okay, stocks I'm waiting on going into next week. Now, of course, the premium members, active trend trading members will get the early alerts on these when they first trigger. But I'm waiting on Nugget. I'm waiting on UCO. I'm waiting for a second chance entry on UCO. The UCO right now is up in excess of 12%. We took out part of the profits at 10%. And I'm waiting for the dynamic duo to do something, Tesla and NVDA, and we'll see if they're going to be as rewarding to the downside as they were to the upside. A little bit about the reality of trend trading. Know the trend, define the area of interest or value. Everybody can do that every weekend on just a handful of stocks or ETFs. Define the area of interest. That's where you want to take action, and if you take action, then you determine what's my strategic targets, either for profit and or my stop losses to manage your position. Okay, here's where we wound up, up about 19%. Now this is just inclusive of the profits we took off the table. So strategy 1, we picked up 9%, 12% on strategy 2, and strategy 3. About 60%. And if you want to know what these strategies are, you can go to the website and read up on each one of those. Here's my P&L halfway through the year. This is what a little bit up, a little bit up, a little bit sideways, a little bit up. A P&L will never typically go up in a straight line. That was one of the hardest, that was one of the most challenging things for my wife to understand when I started trading for a living, is that it's not like a regular job. It's more like a sales job where you're living on commissions. Sometimes the commissions are really great, and you make more than what you want to be, than you need on a monthly basis. Other times the commissions are, either really skinny, or in some cases, if you're paying a lot of your own expenses, you have negative months. Trading's a lot the same way. So if your spouse is asking you about, well, why aren't you making X amount per week, just like you did when you used to have a job? Well, there's a good reason for that. It doesn't, trading doesn't lend itself to that. Although we are trying to take out some of the ups and downs by trading some of the strategy 2 trades. But even there, you know, once we put the trade on, you're never absolute 100% guaranteed to have a winning trade. Here's what strategy 3's done so far this year. Very pleased with that. Now we have reopened positions in NVDA and Tesla. And so that's going, and we're waiting to open up positions on those. So let's, doing good time-wise. I'm going to take a look, real quick look at two entities that you can keep in, you know, keep on the back of your mind for going into next week. UCO. Okay, for early warning alert, guys, remember we got into UCO down here at the end of last week. I think it was on Friday, or yeah, Friday of last week, just on the tick up, and we got in at 12.98, and so we took off some of the profits at 10%, and would like to see this move all the way back up. And what we were trading on this, as a refresher, we were trading basically what we are trading is the symmetry that went here. There's a 20% move. Okay, activate, move. You can see it almost made it up 20% there, and so I can go ahead and go to the bottom low and anticipate a similar move up. I can connect these highs. That's the uptrending channel, or uptrending, the downtrending highs that are being hit here. If I get up here into the 1574 level, I'm going to want to take my profits. That'll be a 20% gain. My max up to the high of the line there is, you know, about 36%. So, but I have no guarantee I'm going to make it up there. So I'm going to, you know, what's that old adage of bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered? That's kind of the way this is. For a secondary entry, what am I looking for? Well, as you can see on some of these past times up, didn't do it on this one, but on some of these past times up, where it came back and hit against the 8-day moving average, that would be kind of my trigger to get back into a trade. That will have to be set up as a conditional order. So that's one. And then I'll bring up Nugget. Nugget's looking pretty good. It is up against a level of resistance right now. So not ready to basically jump on this one quite yet, but it is starting to look interesting. And we know in July oftentimes is where the seasonality on gold turns around. So there's a couple of trading ideas. NVDA, similar type thing. It's finding support there at the 142.25 level. Like to see the momentum indicators start to move back up. Only thing is on our weekly chart, as you can see over here, our momentum and TSI is actually turned down. So we may get a little bit deeper pullback. What would be really pretty is get a pullback down here to around 120 to 130, and then a rebound into the end of the year, because I don't think NVDA is going away. We just have to be patient with it. And again, premium members will get the highlights on those really quickly. And so with that, guys, and ladies, I'm going to basically say, hey, we'll see if you're if you're a premium member, you know, tune back in at for the final hour. We'll get that done today. And remember, this weekend is the weekend before the 4th of July. So, you know, you're going to have some family time. Some of you will probably be off on Monday. So enjoy your long weekend. And enjoy your long weekend. And have an absolutely fantastic weekend. And until Monday, aloha.